Now, our first speaker, if I think of a multi-talent, I have her warm and bubbly smile right in front of my head. If you think of multi-talent, it's Anne-Mieke. She paints like a master. She cooks like a chef. She writes, she codes, she designs, she does so many things. She is one of the most passionate advocates for accessibility that I know. And like many of us, obviously, life threw her a few curveballs. And she managed those by systemizing and automizing everything that remotely smells of routine. She's going to tell us all about that and more. Can I get a warm round of applause for Anne-Mieke Bovelett?
I have to breathe 3 times because I'm normally not nervous talking to people, but getting started. Jeez, that's the hardest part. All right. So, my talk, scaling your agency, is your page builder ready for that? Sounds like clickbait, doesn't it? Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I have to warn you a bit up front. I don't know if anyone ever read Jackie Collins' novels, but that lady would write books where she would start one chapter, very exciting, and then a second one, and maybe a third one, and you would think, cool, but what do these people or things have to do with each other? And then in the end, she would book them in, and you would see how everything was connected. Well, that's what my presentation is going to be like, a little, okay? I'm easily distracted. I've got ADHD on steroids. My slides are here mostly to protect you from me talking too much. And if I go too fast, or if I seem to drift off, just wave, guys, because I might actually be drifting off. Cool. All right, so now the question, if your favorite page builder is ready to scale your agency, I have a counter question for that. What if the websites you're building for your clients, whether a small business or freelancers or maybe your football club or whatever, are failing them? I mean, it means you could be doing a better job, right? What if your design and your technical choices are silently costing your customers sales, alienating potential customers, preventing them from thriving? Would you know? Who am I to speak about this? Well, my name is Anne-Mieke Bovelett. In the past, I had a full-service web agency. Nowadays, I'm a consultant for WordPress agency growth, and I'm an accessibility mentor. I built my first website in 1998. I first used WordPress in 2007. And until 4 years ago, I was building digital experiences that smacked the doors in people's faces. Now, I realize that today, see, this is typically, there's something else I wanted to say. I shouldn't animate my slides, actually. What's important to know is that I connect the dots between e-commerce and accessibility, okay? Accessibility is an important topic, and I realize that maybe not everyone in this room knows what is meant by accessibility. And I don't want anyone to get the feeling that I am now talking about something and you feel really stupid because you don't know about it. Even I didn't know anything about it until 4 years ago. But it's time that we start knowing about it, because this is about human decency and it is about growing your business. Because imagine you're going into a store. Who's been into a store where there were no price labels? Did anyone ever experience that? You did? How did that make you feel, huh? If I see that, I just want to walk out. And I don't know why I don't feel I have the decency to ask a salesperson there, what does this cost? I just get pissed off. And I go out, I'll order this somewhere else. This is what we do to people in web shops, but most of us don't know it. Okay? Now, I've worked with the majority of page builders and page building capable things for WordPress. I've listed the whole thing. Enfold, Anvada, Elementor, DV, WP Bakery, Visual Composer, Beaver Builder, Oxygen, GeneratePress, Brick Builder, and lately, I fell in love with the block editor people. I'm using WordPress full site editing using Great Suite. And I want to say something about scalability, because that is the main topic of this WordCamp. It's the red, how do you say, the red line through everything. And there's something people tend to mix up. Scalability and growth are not the same thing. Growth is when you must hire more developers because you just got more work, so you need more people. And either you hire developers to handle complex projects or more complex projects, or you handle a larger volume of work. That's cool if your company is growing. I mean, hey, maybe you're alone, and then you hire your first assistant, and this assistant grows into someone who can do more and more and more, and all of a sudden you find yourself with 100 people, 200 people. That's growth. Growth is tough. I think we'll hear about that in Anne-Miike's talk later on today. Yeah, but scalability, that's something else. Scalability means when you get more work, when you get more customers, when you get more complex projects, you can handle these projects without having to hire more developers and more people. Because the way you build and the stuff you use to build your tools are helping you to do that. It's one of the reasons why I started using page builders. I hate developing. It's boring. I want to make nice, colorful things. I want to think about content. I don't want to think about CSS or PHP or HTML or whatever. I just want it to work. So scalability is about working smarter, not harder. And I could have made this talk about a lot of tools that you can use for your scalability, but I'm going to stick to my stories about page builders. And first, just to make sure that we're all on the same page here, that people understand what it is when I speak about accessibility. When a site or app is accessible, it means anyone can use it. It means that no matter what the person's ability is, or inability is, or disability is, or how they interact with technology, they can use assistive technology like screen readers, voice control, eye tracking. They can navigate smoothly. Now, when you're healthy, you don't think about that. When you have 20/20 vision, it doesn't occur to you that maybe someone who doesn't see well, if I take off my glasses like this, I can't see half of you. Right? This goes for many. Keyboard users. can reach every function. If you go onto a website that you built and you just use the tab key to walk through it, can you tell where you are? If any of you run web shops and you can't tell where you are by using a keyboard, your web shop is bleeding revenue. Literally. Because there are so many more users than we think that need assistive technology or navigate by keyboard. And then there are those with visual impairments, hearing impairments, cognitive impairments like me, or motor disabilities. So what does that have to do with scalability? Before we can even think about scalability, maybe you want to be able to haul in some bigger projects. Maybe you want to haul in larger customers, more complex things. So accessibility has everything to do with scalability. I have to read this one up because I cannot say this long sentence out of my head. Because the moment you're forced to invest in hiring more developers to fix code for accessibility, the scalability that your page builder is instrumental in is negatively impacted. Because suddenly you are not able to say to your customer, when I build a site for you, it works for everybody. You choose that no-coding solution for a reason, right? Maybe because you can't code. Maybe because you don't want to code. Maybe because you're a back-end developer and you are starting out and you don't want to hire a designer and share the profit, but you still want to be able to deliver a nice website. Or maybe you immediately saw the value for your own scalability when you first discovered page builders. I remember the day I discovered Elementor. I was walking on the roof. I was like, oh, this is so cool. The sky is the limit. When I discovered that I could hook that up to custom fields and I could connect it to all kinds of services, I was like, yeah. But here I am with accessibility again. Next year, the European Accessibility Act comes into effect. And a lot of people are worried, and some are not. Companies can get fines. There's even one country that promises jail time. Yeah. But that is coming from fear. That is coming from no. And why are they doing that? We should turn that question around. Why do we think this is so special? If we buy a car, the car that we put our children in, that we travel around with, that we trust with our own safety, if we buy a car, we expect that this car is safe, that it just works. We don't go questioning whether it has been tested or whether it has been certified. Of course it has been tested and certified. But we don't do the same thing for websites. Don't feel too bad though, because I know most of us, like me for 4 years ago, we're not aware. For some strange reason, no one is telling us that, or has been telling us that. And now, the whole darn thing is going to hit a lot of people like a bus. The biggest companies, the insurance companies, the banks, they already are working on it. But, of course, it's laws, they have to pull a line, draw a line somewhere, so, yeah. But only for example, when we take web shops, for web shops that have 2 million euro turnover and more than 10 employees. So, what about the customers who officially do not have to comply? I can hear a lot of people thinking right now, oh yeah, well, that's only to be with 2 million turnover. I'm never going to get there in my life. Forget it. I don't have to do that. Right? Well, anybody thinking like that? Sorry if I offend you. That's you. That's you. This is your chance to profile yourself as a web creator that brings additional value, guiding your customers to a higher converting web presence. Because again, before you can even start thinking about scaling, you have to be among the best. You have to be among those people delivering digital experience where you do not say to your customer, hey man, we can make it accessible, because your customer is going to go access and what? Because giving that as an argument is the same as your Mercedes dealer. You go to him, you got a big pocket of money if you're lucky, and you're putting down 90,000 euros, and then the dealer says, yeah, cool, right? And it's been tested for security too. Right? This is something we need to keep in mind. How are you going to scale if you cannot live up to the expectations? So, this is, again, blind people don't visit my website. I hear that one so often. It's actually also the title of a fantastic blog article by Anne-Mieke Bovelett. I don't know if she's here today. I hope so. Yay! I throw that article around among friends, customers, potential customers like candy. And of course, part of me wants to explain to you everything about accessibility, but I cannot do that. This is a keynote. I don't have that much time. But for those who are like, I'm not sure if I understand what is meant by blind, people being blind is the usual suspect for accessibility, which is terrible because it's only a very small percentage of the users that depend on accessibility. Blind is not just seeing nothing. Blind is having difficulty seeing. So I'm going to bust this myth in a little video in under a minute, just to give you a sense of how your assumption may be wrong, because in fact, we don't know who visits our website. Assistive technology cannot be measured. That would be horrible. Your privacy would be out of the window if people can see that you use assistive technology. Right? So, all right. I hear some people giggling. I was giggling too when I was building this, because designing something like that hurts. That is like you want to create that fantastic cake, and you shouldn't put so much salt in it, but you have to just to prove the point. Okay. So this is Freshly Fruity Smoothies, and they have this corporate style with oh, why is this not working? It's not working, folks. Yeah. I have to circle it because I don't know about you, but this is the font I cannot read. I have difficulty reading this. I have dyslexia. Then here we have something, it's very fashionable these days. I don't know why. People love yellow and white. They will make yellow background and white text, and I guarantee you, a lot of people can't even see that. All right, and then, order these 4 smoothies before 4 p.m. today, and get a free banana, yay! Okay. Well, these people love their color combinations. Okay, on my screen this looks a lot better than on that screen. But these people have obviously also just learned about email marketing because they're making this competition and saying, are there more or less than 7 green fruits in this picture? Click the green button for more, click the red button for yes. Doesn't matter what the customer is going to click because he's going to be forced to give his or her email address so they get another promise. Email marketing 101, right? Yeah. Well, it's difficult to talk to customers like this who really want their curly whirly font and who really insist on these colors, because they too will say, old people are not our target group, blind people are not our target group, and we've never seen anyone in a wheelchair coming into our shop. Can you believe it? This I heard this literally one time. I'm not going to say what I was thinking, sorry. All right, so I'm going to show you a video that's less than a minute, and it's going to race you through just some visual impairments. All right, so cool stuff, but what if you're colorblind? How do you know what is the red and the green fruit? This is the reality for people who have diabetes, for many. This is what certain forms of dyslexia look like. Or what if you're dyslexic and you're colorblind, huh? That's why it's not going to work for you anymore. Yeah. Oh, my video stopped. I'm going to try again. Okay, colorblind, diabetic. Dyslexia. Colorblind again. What if you're sensitive to light? Maybe you're born like that, or maybe you just have a heck of a hangover. Right? What if you're sensitive to light and colorblind? Or if you have tunnel vision. Now you know why wide paragraphs are horrible. Or when you have blind and bird spots. It's the reality for millions and millions of people. Or what if your design has been done in such a way that if you take that tablet outside in the sun, this is what people see. Where's the contrast? It's gone. This is not going to convert. This is why we sometimes have to battle and discuss with our customers and explain why they should do a relaunch of their website. Because accessibility remediation, folks, that's not it. It's good if you want to try to remediate. But if the site is so complex that it's hard to remediate, it might cost more to remediate it than to build a new, highly converting experience. The value here is it lies in conversion, not in compliance. Because if you only do the bare minimum, tell your customer, imagine you have a restaurant and it looks nice on the outside and it has nice furniture on the inside, and then you come in and there's plastic plates and plastic forks and knives. The menu though, every dish there's no dish under 25 euros, and when you walk out, you're 200 euros less in your pocket. But you come in and you see those plastic forks. What are you going to do? Are you going to take this company, this restaurant seriously? Of course not. But this is an experience that we unwittingly, unknowingly offer to a lot of our users. So when you build new websites and you want to scale your website, when you want to take on more complex projects, understanding this, knowing about this, is impertinent. It is one of your selling points. And don't say to people, I'm going to create an accessible website. There's no Mercedes dealer who's going to say, I'm going to sell you a certified car. It's a bullshit argument. Because it should be accessible by default. What are we talking about? A restaurant should have nice cutlery, nice plates, not plastic plates. Come on. And accessibility isn't sexy. It isn't, because people don't know what you're talking about. It's not new either. This is what someone said to me lately. Yeah, you and your woke, modern bullshit on the web. This book, I think this edition is from 2005. This guy was already talking about accessibility back then, but somehow it went forgotten. And I can do a whole talk about how that went forgotten, but that's not what I'm here for today. If you have questions about that, or if you want to know, just come and find me. I'm here for 2 days. So, what you want to talk about is increasing conversion through design and content. And you being able to say, hey customer, if you let me do that job for you, you'll be more successful with your website. And we might get into discussions, but it will be better, and you can show the numbers. There are reports out there showing why accessible experiences convert much, much better. And now we come to the page builder part, because you're using that page builder because you don't want to be mixed in with the technique. And then you want to be sure that that page builder is like that Mercedes that you just bought, where you can expect that it works, that it's safe, and that if you crash into a wall, you don't break every bone in your body. Right? So, there is a fantastic company within our community. They're called Equalize Digital. Behind Equalize Digital are 3 people, Amber Hens, Christopher Hens, and Steve Jones. And in the past years, they have been educating us about accessibility in a way that I'm like, and when are you working and sleeping? Right? And Amber created a WordPress page builder accessibility comparison. By the way, all the links and all the stuff that I'm talking about here is on my website. And so she published this report. She tested page builders, which is a horrific amount of work. This is one of the greatest gifts that our community could have ever gotten where it comes to accessibility, because they just handed it to you. And so are the others, like the Alley Collective, for example. They're here today. Yay! Their blogs are amazing. Everything. It's not hard to learn about this stuff. The information is out there. So, now what can we do as a community where it comes to this? You know, WordPress, how do I say this? Page builder vendors are part of our community too, because maybe you will have this somewhat violent inner reaction that I had when I first learned that the page builder that I was using was not up to standard. I was pissed off. I was like, why? Why don't you know this? Aren't you supposed to know this? Aren't you supposed to have done this, right? There are a lot of reasons why so many tools out there do not have accessibility ready output. And I implore you, don't get mad. Work with them and let's work with each other. The information is out there. Let's scale this thing together. All right? So what can you do? As a user, when you find accessibility issues, by simply tabbing through that template that you just bought, or hopefully didn't already buy, and figure out, hey, it's not working. When you find them, ask the vendor of your tool, because this could also be happening in the plugin that you just installed. Ask them if they are aware of this issue and what you can do to help them to fix it. You have to help them to help you to scale. All right? But I hope also today that there are a lot of plugin creators here, people who work on themes, because I want to ask you, please make it easy for people to approach you about this, to ask questions and report issues to you. And please, don't think, yeah, I don't get so many questions about this, so it cannot be important. Because it is important, right? So your input is significant. Share as much as you can. Because what may seem insignificant to you could be that one hurdle that causes someone not to be able to use the site you built. I made one short link. All the resources that I've mentioned and some more are listed under this link. So that was it. I managed to do this in how much? 30 minutes?
Yep.
That's a first. You want to copy it tonight?
Thank you.
It worked. It worked.
Over to you.
Well, we'll see about that.
Does anybody have any questions?
Question.
Well?
Leaning nothing.
If nobody has questions, I have.
No.
You do? I was almost going to say, if nobody has questions, I didn't do a good job with my presentation.
Look, it's working.
Hello, my name is Marlene van Prooijen. Anna, you would like the people in this audience to go out and work more on accessibility.
Yeah.
To get them started, which tools would you recommend for them to start testing their own products?
First tool you use? Your hand. You go into a website, you start hitting the tab key, and you're going to see if that you see something on your screen that jumps from link to button to link. These are called focusable elements. If you don't see it, the person who built that website probably thought to himself or herself, let's get rid of the fugly blue lines, right? But you can style them, actually. Yeah, second of all, you can install the accessibility checker from Equalize Digital. It runs in the back end. It's a free plugin on .org. And it's running on your own server, so no privacy hanky-panky to some server in faraway stand. And it will show you what can be tested as far as we can find accessibility issues in a technical way. It will show you what is happening. And you will find, if you run into issues, that most of them are very simple to resolve. And there you come to a point where you can resolve it. That's where you go to your vendor and say, this is not working. My software is telling me something is wrong. Can you fix it? Or what do you need from me to fix it? So those are two of the things I would recommend. Because you don't have to be chocolate, right? You don't have to be like me thinking, now I have to know everything about accessible content, about accessible coding, accessible everything. Right? Because that's tiresome. We are all focusing on our own disciplines. So stick with your own discipline, but focus on the accessibility in that.
Cool.
More questions?
One clarifying question to this. The link to that accessibility checker, would that also be on
Is
your page?
everything is hidden under this link. There you go.
Can you please come forward for your question so that
Yes, about accessibility. My manager and my design team, they like sliding elements. What do you think about that? Go online.
All right, sure. I love this one. Sliding elements just suck. But sure to know that you are trying to win that discussion with them. I will, anyone has to remind me of this today or tomorrow because I recently found fantastic research about sliders. And we don't even have to talk about accessibility because they do not convert. They don't. The numbers are there. Yeah. I've seen sliders, for example, text sliders. Recently, Air Serbia relaunched their site. I was happy that they relaunched it because it works now. But before they relaunched it, one of my friends, a blind user, his name is Lazar Vulatovic, he would show us with his screen reader that sliding thing was saying, but he couldn't get out of it. He didn't know where he was. And he likes to fly. He loves to travel. He books his own tickets, but he wasn't booking them with Air Serbia. So they were walking away from revenue. Christoph.
Thank you for the presentation. I have one question. Years ago, I was told that the text browser Lynx is a good first test that you can use when you want to see how it could look like in a screen reader. Is that still true or is it updated?
I have problems hearing your question acoustically. Tab stops? What do you say?
No, the text browser Lynx, Lynx.
Aha.
Is that still a thing to?
I don't know because I will just turn on my screen reader.
Okay, I don't have a screen reader, so this.
But I'd like you to show me that tool.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can maybe, and then if I know more about it, I can write a blog about it.
Any other questions? Raise your hand. No?
Okay, then once again, Anne-Mieke, thank you so much for your hard work.